Hey, how's it going, everybody? The show you're about to watch is with Joe Cantu, an IFBB pro certified bodybuilder and multi time men's physique competitor at the Mr. Olympia competition. Joe has quite the story, ranging from playing basketball with the University of Houston to getting a contract with the LA Clippers Developmental League and selling drugs after he tore his Achilles tendon. If you guys like what I'm doing here, please give the show a subscribe. Turn on notifications so that when I post new content, you'll immediately receive a message. Post a comment down below and let me know what you think. And as always, I hope you enjoy the show. I know so much about you, man. Like just from Quentin and Chris. Those guys over there, and unfortunately, Rob and Chris, split and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
they have that situation going on.
Yeah, but both great guys.
Yes, definitely.
Do you get to see Rob at all?
No, you know what? I only see him if I come out and if I holler at Q.
Yeah.
Like I hit the gym every now and again and stuff like that. I mean, it's such a drive for me. It's about an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So if I come out, if it's an hour. If I were to work out, that's an hour and some change here. So technically, that's almost like a 3.5-hour round trip for me.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's a lot.
That's almost like going to San Antonio.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, no, you don't need to do all that.
But then I have 5 dogs at home, so I can't technically leave like that.
Yeah.
So I have to be able to get back and make sure they're out, don't shit their kennels. So I got one that eats his shit. So
God,
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, I tell you what, pull the microphone into you just a little bit, just so we make sure. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Dude, I've actually got a dog. Well, so I have 2 Frenchies, and my male, I've had him since he was like a little fucking just a ball of dough, man. He was a puppy, and so he's traveled the world with me. I have him registered as a service dog for PTSD and everything, man. And he, like, he's great. He's never had any issues. But then I go and I kind of rescue, more or less, a female. Okay. And from the same exact breeder, all that stuff, man, she was kennel kept the entire time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, well, and I say that, it's like she was one of the moms.
Right.
And so, they had like a room where she could go run in and out kind of to the outside, but she never actually went outside.
Right. It was more or less an encaged, like, confined area. Like, hey, you're here.
Yeah.
But you can't go out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So technically, like, you kennel them their whole life. You just got a humongous kennel.
Yeah, exactly.
And they only know certain boundaries of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so, and so it's the craziest thing. I mean, she's a little bit older now. She's like 7. She'll be 7 next month.
Right.
But she already had kind of issues. She has like doggy Down syndrome, man.
Right,
so like she's sweetest fucking dog in the world. She's just goofy as fuck.
No.
And
most dogs are.
Yeah.
Because I have, like I said, I got 5, so I have a few that have some personality.
Yeah.
Out of this world. So.
Yeah. What kind of dogs you got?
XL American Bullies.
Oh yes.
XL American Bullies.
Beautiful ones, man.
Yes, we actually have a kennel we're starting up. Me and the wife.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The kennel's name is Southern Aesthetic Bullies.
Southern Aesthetic Bullies.
Southern Aesthetic Bullies.
Cool. Well, that's your company as well, right?
Yes.
Southern Aesthetics.
Yes. Yeah. Southern Aesthetics. Yeah. Created it about 1.5 years ago. I felt, being down south, Houston, this, that, and whatever. So, get a little bit of that. I'm all about the aesthetics of life. Nice balance. Symmetry. Everything has a positive and a negative, but if you can balance that out, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Both ways. So. I felt like, let's go ahead and do something with it, so I just went with it. So I just we're going to branch out from there and just make a few more things. But right now, just, the kennel with me and the wife. So we're doing that. So it's a process, let's just say the least. It's a process. So
Yeah. You got to build.
It's work. It's a lot of work because 24/7, like, I'm with these dogs. And for 5 months, I lived in Michigan and the wife took over completely everything. So that right there was a lot on her. I had my mom go over there. She had her sister-in-law go watch the dogs. But people think that, just like we're talking about with the kennels, they think, oh, I get a dog, I kennel the dog. Like, no, dude, don't put them in there like that. I mean, I want my dogs out. Like, I got my mom at my house right now just so they can be out because I don't want them kenneled up like that. And, when me and the wife do things, say, hey, okay, they shit, but let's go.
Yeah.
3 hours, tops. Not because of anything. We just don't want them in their kennels.
Yeah.
So, we wish we had land, which that's coming in the future. But, so definitely.
Well, especially with those, man, the Bully XLs, dude, they're awesome, awesome dogs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people are kind of, you know, well, obviously they're big,
Right.
but
Yes, very much.
people look at them, they're like, they think that they're just these, you know, basically like fucking pit bulls on steroids.
Definitely, yes. Everywhere we go, we get, you know, more likes than dislikes.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those, every time that I've been around and we're out somewhere with them, it's always like, oh my God, can I pet your dog? There's a few like, are they friendly? Are they this? I'm like, super friendly. I was like, look, if you can tell, you know, they're going up to you with asses shaking, tails wagging, slobbered out. Let's give me some kisses. I need attention, you know, which I love because, you know, like you're right. You know, people think that they're just, you know, pit bulls on steroids because they're 23, 24, 25 inches tall, 120 plus pounds. And they're just like, okay, that thing's going to eat me alive if it gets mad. And I'm like, it can if it needs to. Don't get me wrong. That's
Absolutely.
any dog that you have, if it's going to be protective of you, it's going to do that. So, you know, but we want to build that other, you know, that other kind of look for them to where that's a family dog. It's a loyal dog. It'll obey. It'll protect you. You know, it's going to do everything that you want it to do if you give it the love that it needs to get.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we're trying to do because a lot of people do have the stereotype of those dogs. It's like, you know, those are pit bulls that are usually by the ghetto people, like the thugs, like Hispanics that are like that, the blacks that are like that. It's like, no, we want to make that an everyday dog, like a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Like a Doberman.
Yeah.
You know, you can look at a Doberman and be like, damn, that looks mean as shit. Right. That's probably a little bit more aggressive than the bully, but bullies by nature, because of the pit bull look they have, are going to get that bad rep.
Yeah.
Just because. And, you know, because the media controls everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, people are so quick to forget common sense nowadays.
Well, yeah, there's more dog bites by Chihuahuas
right
than by any other animal out there.
Exactly. You know, so like it's just like, you know, like way far-fetched example of this is like Africa. You know, people think that lions and shit kill more people out there than that. It's not really. It's hippopotamuses.
Yeah.
They're like, what? And people are going to be like, holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hippopotamuses attack more people than actual lions and shit like that. So kind of give you a sense of where people go with some of this shit. You know, they just want to throw, oh, that looks bad. Let's label it, control it, deem it evil to everything. And if you want to believe it, you're going to believe it. You know?
Yeah. You know, what's funny is I've got actually I have a friend. She's got a huge TikTok channel. Lives a little bit north of here, up in the Conroe area, and she has 2 Bully XLs. And that's like the biggest thing she gets is like, oh my God, your dogs are monsters. You know, they're going to hurt people. They're going to do this. Because that's all the fucking media says. That's the media looks at these dogs. Of course, I think she has one that has cropped ears and one that doesn't.
Right.
You know, because like you take a cane Corso.
Right.
Put a cane Corso out there. That dog's like 100% muscle. You crop his ears and he looks like a fucking demon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a Mastiff. It's a Mastiff, but muscle.
A muscled up Mastiff.
Yeah.
With the aesthetics of, you know, the whole leanness and it's tight.
Right.
So anything with the cropped ears, with the point ears.
Yeah.
Put anything pointy on someone's head. Oh, the devil.
Exactly.
You know, so you do it to a dog that has that face and that look and the power. If it looks powerful, they think, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's going to get me.
Yeah, like a cane Corso, I think, and I could be completely fucking wrong about this, and somebody will check me on it, but, you know, cane Corso has like top 10 dog bite strength out there.
Yeah, super lot.
But like
super high.
Pitbull isn't even like, oh, I mean, it's up there, but it's not like the highest. And a Bully XL, because I mean, they're more or less an engineered breed,
right?
If you will.
They are.
Their demeanor's even better.
Yeah.
Like overall, they're even better because they weren't. It's not like they were bred for like pit bulls were bred for like hunting.
Yeah, hog hunting. Yes. And stuff like that of that nature. Yep.
Bully XLs, they don't have that a million years in their genes doing that.
They don't because they're a very young breed.
Yeah.
In that way, but there's also a few different classes of it.
Yeah.
You have the standards, the XLs, and then people are not trying to create, but anything over 23 inches, a lot of people in the community, they kind of say that's okay. So what is that? Let's just say it's a double XL.
Yeah.
You say it jokingly because you just say, well, it's not an XL because in standard, you know, like on an ABKC, it's 23 inches.
Yeah.
So anything over, what do you call it? Of course, it's classified as XL, but people still have that That's not how it says, and that's not how this. Well, okay, cool. There's a lot of things that aren't alike, but you still call us humans.
Well, you're gonna have those purists that they want this particular dog, but
Right.
then there's gonna be a lot of people out there that want to be able to say, man, I got a double XL bully.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
But-
it's that.
Well, because you got those, like, what's that little one? You see him, so again,
The
'cause
micros.
yeah.
The micros in the pockets.
Oh my God. Like,
They look like they have like hinged. Like, they're just here. Looks like they're all day long. Feet are out this
Yeah.
way, you know. So there's no functionability in
No.
these dogs. You hear them breathing. It sounds like they're just hacking up loogies all day long.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't live that that old. You know,
they
I think,
can't. I'd
think-
imagine they wouldn't be able to live very long.
Yeah, I think a guy told me once, maybe 3 years, 3.5, depending on like their breathing problems they have, because they do have a lot of breathing problems. Like as far as their navel cavities, kind of same as bulldogs.
Yeah.
A bulldog's a great dog, but with those breathing issues and skin issues they have because of their face, that's a lot of work.
So like that was a big thing. Like like my Frenchies for me,
Right.
because of my travel and work and everything, that's the perfect dog for me.
Right.
On top of that, they're not super aggressive. They're playful,
Definitely.
but like mine, like Waylon, he's 35 pounds,
Right.
and I mean you could tell he never skips leg day.
Uh-huh.
And I always say it's like leg day and ear day. This motherfucker's got it.
Right.
But he's good that way. He sounds horrendous because he's loud.
Right.
But like a bulldog, like a regular bulldog, you as the human have to go wipe the dog's ass after it goes outside because it can't clean itself.
No.
Like my Frenchies, they can take care of themselves. Like
Right,
I don't have to do a
definitely.
lot of that stuff. Man, so like I was looking at I wanted a Merle. I wanted a Merle
Right.
style dog, and the official state dog of Texas is called a Blue Lacy.
Oh, really?
And
Didn't know that.
yeah, and so I was looking at the Blue Lacies, and they are kind of all natural. Almost all of them are more like a Merle
Really?
colored
Okay.
dog, and they're beautiful dogs.
I'm gonna look 'em
It's
up.
like a herding dog. It's a
Okay.
we got cows here.
Right. Right.
So-
Definitely makes sense.
Yeah, but beautiful dogs, but they're super high energy, and like an Australian Shepherd kind of thing.
Okay.
I couldn't do that, and so when I found Waylon, I was like, man, this is my dog, and
Perfect dog.
I found in love with this. But then I wanted to research it, and I started looking into like other bulldog breeds just to make sure I was making the right decision.
Right,
and I was
right.
like, and I started finding some of this stuff out. Like, yeah, you got to go wipe an English bulldog's ass.
Yep.
Like that's
If not, you're gonna sit there and just see the trails of just shit constantly build up, and you wonder, what the hell is that fucking smell?
yeah.
It's your dog.
Yeah.
You have to go sit there and do your job. But
He's wiping his ass on your carpet, and he's wiping his ass on your floor or your walls and everything. It's
wherever it could be.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, you're getting shit everywhere. So, yeah, I have a couple of buddies who have those dogs, and I give them props all the time. I'm like, dude,
it's a lot of
it's
work.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like, and they tell me yours is a lot of work. I'd rather do this because I take my dogs on walks every day, and I take them in groups. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm walking 6 miles a day, just dogs.
Yeah, but you're a big motherfucker, dude. Like you can handle
I
a
handle it
couple
little
100-pound
bit,
of dogs.
But honestly, like for myself right now, this is week 2 of myself getting back into shape because
Yeah.
I didn't work out when I was in Michigan for 5 months because I was out there working.
Yeah.
So that's a huge life change. And for me right now, I'm like, fuck, Joe. Like this is like the 4th time starting over.
Yeah.
Versus not being injured because
Yeah.
I tore my Achilles, broke my ankle in the past and shit. And this was just like work. As I came back, I told the wife, like, damn, I'm a normal human. Muscle atrophied, body's fat, nasty. I was just like, holy shit. But the mental for the first month was the toughest.
Really?
I was timing my workouts. I was going in there doing a set, 2, I'm out. Walk halfway to the exit door, go right back, let me do another set. I'm out. Just not feeling it. Like, fuck the gym. Like, seriously, it was that bad. And I sit there and I tell people, they're like, dude, but that's you, man. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. No, I'm not, to tell you the truth, because my whole routine was wake up at 5 in the morning, get ready, get in the truck by 6, eat a waffle, 2 bowls of cereal. Lunchtime was 2 homemade sandwiches, some Cheetos, and dinner was fucking BW3s or fucking Burger King.
Yeah.
And doing that 7 days a week. So getting back in the gym now, that first month was total hell, completely hell. And I was down and out. I had moments I'd tear up and be like, dude, what the fuck? And I couldn't figure it out because I lost that complete love for what I used to love my entire life because it kept me in shape. But then I found myself like, dude, you're about to be 43 years old. Get your shit back together before you end up. It's 44, it's 45, it's 46, and you're gonna be a hot fucking mess. A hot fucking mess. You know, the wife's good about telling me to get my fucking ass up, but there's only so much that the wife could do to where I'm gonna listen. The rest of it's about me going. And I have a client that I see, so that kind of helped. That when that started back up, that kind of helped. Like, all right, you're in here for an hour. Get your ass in there and work. Started doing it. So now I'm going on 2 weeks. So we'll see. It's a journey, bro. You know how it is. You know, like I see you, I see Quentin, and I see everybody, and I see other people that do it, and you know the ones who used to do it. I'm like, damn. It's like I made it to the top of the sport, and now I'm sitting here trying to struggle out of the bottom again. But I'm struggling out of the bottom more. It's harder this time. I'm like, what the hell's so different? It's like from the lockdown, being inconsistent, but just doing all that bullshit and then getting back into it. But then mentally, my brain completely said, I don't know what the gym is. Let me just be a working man and support my family because I needed to do a few things. But then I found myself missing my family. That caused a huge depression gap because I was like, fuck, I'm here. The wife's at home with 5 dogs. You know, we don't have no kids yet, but those are our kids. But she's holding the fort, and I'm over here just working every day. Can't see her.
Yeah.
Can't touch her. Can't be in her presence because, you know, that's my best friend. I don't hang out with many people, you know, just like you. He's with Ashley and the girls all day long. I'm at the house with the dogs. My girl comes home. I'm like, hey, you know, what are we doing? We go to the grocery store. Those are dates.
Right.
Those are dates, bro.
Right.
And people are like, she says she tells her brother. Her brother's like, what? She's like, yeah, you know, we go to the grocery store. Those are our dates sometimes. You know, going to Walmart or going to the Tractor Supply or some shit like that, or going to fucking Whataburger and just sitting in the parking lot, eating a hamburger, acting like you don't got dogs for 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a good date, you know. So, you know, if not, you know, we'll drive downtown and Gas Gods. I'll pilot, you know, I'll get some pre-rolls and shit. We'll smoke one and go get something to eat, come right back home. That's a date, you know. So the little things that I missed completely fucked my brain up to where now it's like I felt that gap. That gap was so big that when I started back at work again, I still had a huge gap. The wife was there, but I was like, damn, how the hell did it get that fucking big? And it was fucking hard. I mean, doing 135 and it's like, whoa, bro. Like, and I even told myself, and I put it on Facebook, not wanting to do the shit, but like, damn, this was a complete gut check, complete mind fuck.
Yeah.
This was worse than when I tore my Achilles. And I recovered from that and still try to play basketball again. But this was worse even after breaking that same leg ankle and recovering from that. I was like, this is like, what the hell? And that's the part that I couldn't figure out until about 2 weeks ago. It just clicked one day when I woke up, got on the plane and this, that, and just went. And then the next day happened. And that's why I tell people when I coach them or whatever, I'm like, I understand what you're doing. And they're like, there's no way. Like, dude, I've cried during preps. I've cried during cardios. I've been stressed out. I was like, I've burnt bridges. I gave a shit. I told people fuck off who cared for me because I didn't realize that that's what they were doing. I had a goal. Shows, prep, Olympia. Let's go. Get the fuck out of the way. You're in my way. No, you're in my way. I'm trying to help. Yeah, but you're in my way. You know, so that whole gap, and I was such a competitor, and for like 2 days, you know, the wife was like, you okay? I was like, I just can't find myself. And then I woke up, and it's not like it snapped, but I woke up and I was just like, you know what? I got to do this for me. If I don't, I'm going to end up in the fucking quicksand of life. By the time I realize when I do get out of it, I'm going to be 3 years in this fucking hole of depression of what I coach people out of. I'm fucking falling into it, not believing in myself because I have to start over. But this start over is so hard because I couldn't figure out why that gap was so big, even though everything else was getting filled up again. I was just like, how the hell is this still fucking empty over here? Like, what the fuck? You know? And then it's like, hey, right now I'm not on anything. Yeah. I'm a natural guy. I'm a natural human being, you know? Levels are fucking crazy. I get my blood work done in the next week, and then I have an appointment to see Dr. Lipschultz. You know, he's always the guy of Houston to go to. So, You know, I get to go do that, but I get to figure it out. I'm like, okay, what the fuck did I do wrong this time? And I think it was just going to the extreme of from shit growing up all the way till last November or October actually that I checked out and just healthy life, want to be an athlete, want to be a superstar, want to be in the NBA growing up. And I turned a bodybuilder, didn't believe it, like, holy shit, did this, did that. And then I was like, that never existed. You're just a normal man. I think that normal man screwed my body up so much because when I was going to trying to qualify for Olympia and going, I was running all kinds of shit. Never had an issue with the fucking thing. Now all of a sudden I can't even keep my dick hard 10 seconds without fucking sitting here like wondering. The urge is there. It's just like, like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Talking to Q about it, he was like, yeah, dude, I went through the same shit once. And I'm just like, well, what the fuck? And not being able to sit there and do that, you're just like, fuck, I'm not doing my part. I feel like a bitch. Like, what's wrong with me? Urge is there. And the wife's like, are you okay? And I was just, I need to get my blood work done. And I remember when I looked at it last time, I didn't look at the bottom of it because I was scanning it through when I was in Michigan. I was like, the fuck? I'm like, oh shit. And I saw the fucking sex drive of my blood shit was fucking damn near at 87. I'm like, whoa, okay, that makes fucking total sense. Doesn't matter that I'm running this fucking testosterone right now.
Yeah.
The rest of that shit's fucked up. Everything is. My estrogen's fine, but I don't feel the urge to do a damn thing. But I'm still taking my shot. Let me go to pretend like I'm going to the gym. And then after that, when I got home, it was just like, oh, okay, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Big time, big time, big time.
I've never done a single drug of any kind.
Right.
Not opposed to it. None of that stuff. Growing up, I always got drug tested.
Right.
I was speed skating, so
Right.
couldn't.
Right.
You know, there's like zero tolerance for that stuff. I mean, even testosterone. And now, now I'm on, TRT.
Right.
I get a testosterone shot once a week. I mean, at 40 years old.
Some people need that.
Yeah.
It's natural. I had clients at 27 years old doing this shit, and I told them, they're like, that's what's wrong. Look, coach. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, how'd this happen? I thought this happens to old guys. I'm like, it's starting to happen to younger, males because of what they're fucking eating.
Right. Yeah. We have to consider that today, what we put in our body on a daily basis, even if you're not eating like Whataburger or McDonald's every single day, even to put that in your system now, that shit didn't exist 100 years ago.
No.
And so even eating it once a week or once a month, that is putting something else in your system that eventually is going to cause some type of problem. Maybe not something that's detrimental to your health, but it will eventually build up.
Right.
And so I look at guys today, like going in the gym. Some of them obviously have much more, they're huge. They're big guys. They're
Definitely.
6'4", 6'5". They have these massive, amazing physiques. But overall, the size of guys, I think what I've been seeing is at a much earlier age, testosterone levels dropping in men. Guys not getting as big and bulky as they used to be at an early age and carrying kind of that natural size into the gym. And so, I mean, look, testosterone, if you're on, Cypionate, stuff like that, it's natural testosterone.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. It's completely, I mean, even at this point, I still do random drug tests and stuff like that. Nothing shows up whatsoever. But I guess you would have to imagine that at some point with some of that other stuff, taking, Winstraw and what's the one? Tren. Yeah, that's a big common one.
It was. I was never a fan of Tren.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, yeah. As much as I fucking knew what it did and like the benefits of it, I knew how toxic and harsh it was.
Yeah.
The part that I hated about it was the night sweats and the insomnia.
Yeah.
Because back in 2014, I'm coming off my first season as a pro, getting my ass kicked and finding my way, and did my first show, and it was in Denver that year. Met this guy after the show, and I was like, hey, can you look at my diet? He checked it, whatever, but when he started getting me into stuff that I wasn't using, like Anadrol, stuff like that, slow, small dosage, and I saw the changes. So from 2014, it was, one of those. I figured as much as I was running, I was still getting blood work done and checked.
Mm-hmm.
Never had an issue, right? And I even had this real bad. Then 2015, of course, I qualified for the Olympia and stuff, and then 2016 was going into that season really, focused. Let's go, let's get it. Place fourth, fifth, and sixth in 3 shows, and got told in all three, your lats are too big, your shoulders are too big, this, that, and whatever, and I need to work on conditioning. I'm like, holy shit, okay, here goes the bullshit. So I kind of got frustrated in the middle of the year. Then 2016 stops, like you said, the effect of something afterwards, I don't know what it was. That summer, it was going on July. I took a picture in July by my pool in my apartment. August comes around. I'm noticing I'm in a new protocol with the new coach. I'm in the complete dark side of what I would ever do. And I told myself this too. I would never touch fucking insulin.
Yeah.
But, going into, hey, I'm going to go to Classic. Let me get a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
See how big I can get. I'm 6'1" frame. I know I can carry a lot.
Yeah.
Heaviest I ever got on an off season was 292 pounds.
Oh my God.
I carried that for about a good almost 10 days before I broke the fucking complete mindset of, fuck, I can't take this no more. It hurts. It hurt.
That's big, man.
Yeah, 292. So I dropped down to 285. Felt better. It was not 7 pounds, but it fucking felt better than 292. And that's what I tell people. They're like, so I'm running that. And then here comes August. Okay, I'm like, all right, still hot outside. Houston stays hot fucking until January. So I'm sitting there and I start noticing, just like you said, the effects of shit. I'm like, it's just like it's coming. I started getting Mount Everest across my upper back like no other. I'm like, holy shit. Everything's just like Mount Everest. I'm like, oh, it's going down. Now here goes my lat. This one, here goes this side, here goes my lat. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? Blood work says you're fine. Okay, what the fuck's going on though? Whatever it was, I don't know if it was the fucking EQ that I was drinking like orange juice because I was shooting that shit every other fucking day because I was shooting, 5 shots a week damn near because on the protocol that I was with this prep coach. And the insulin I was running Humalog and a slow acting one. I can't even remember the name of it now. But August comes to September, like I said, Mount Everest is popping, and then here it comes to my face. And I'm sitting here just, it's controlled, this and that, whatever, my back. But then winter comes. Winter comes, and when winter comes, I'm like, okay, weights, like I said, the biggest I ever got. When I got up to 292 and I held it, it's like shit, but I wasn't sleeping. My insomnia was fucking bad. My anxiety, that happened after Olympia, but it was happening randomly. Now that I was that big, first I can't breathe. My fucking allergies suck. My sinuses are fucking horrible. I have fucking asthmatic asthma caused from allergies. Take breathing treatments every 2 weeks. So being that big, I'm not breathing.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time was just, hey, sometimes you are gasping for air when you sleep. It scares the shit out of me every time I have to hear you do that. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, there's times when you're just and my son, I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. And I don't catch myself doing it until I have a panic attack. And then I'm having a random where I'm in dead sleep and I'm just, oh shit, but I can't breathe. I'm like, damn. I'm so big that my body, my anxiety, my heart rate, everything is like, I feel like I'm so enclosed inside of myself at the time. And with the anxiety of the acne, because there's blood all over the bed too, because I'm popping this shit daily.
Yeah.
It was like, damn. I was honestly probably sleeping 3 or 4 times a week. I was up half the time, folding clothes, cleaning my apartment to calm my fucking anxiety down. I'm popping fucking volume like candy because I'm scared to go to sleep. I started becoming scared to go to sleep for about 3 weeks. And at that point, I told myself, hey, dude, fucking stop before you kill yourself. Because I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to breathe right. That's how fucking crazy it got for me to where I was like, I'm doing this shit. And this is when people started getting hurt, started dying more often. And I'm just like sitting here like, I'm gonna fucking have, I'm gonna go hyperglycemic. Blood sugar's gonna rise or drop in my fucking sleep, faint. Nobody's gonna know that Joe's dead because mom's gonna think he's just working a lot. He hasn't called me in 3 or 4 fucking days. I don't have a girlfriend at the time, and people are gonna think that I'm probably out of town partying somewhere because when I would get money, I go party. I'm going out of town.
Yeah.
I got family in Hawaii. I got people in Cali. Go gyms, go lift, whatever. Because that was a life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, that's it. And then with the back and everything else, I'm like, bro, Jason, it was fucking horrible. Like I wasn't sleeping. I was just eating. And I would literally walk my apartment complex at 2 or 3 in the morning, scared to go into my apartment because I felt being 6'1" and that big, I just felt the walls. I was just sitting there. I'd sit on the edge of the couch, like fuck. I can't go to sleep. I can't get in this room. And I think at that time, it was just a buildup, like you said, of everything. I think the drugs over a while just took over my body in a way to where it was like, all right, we're like out of control because I couldn't control the weight, I guess. And I was just so hung up on classic Olympia. I'm going to kill this shit. I'm going to fucking destroy it. I want to be the fucking best in the world. I don't care who's up there. I'm gonna kill it. Like that's just because I've had that basketball mentality.
Sure. Yeah, competitor.
Yeah, and I took that to the bodybuilding world, which was great because, like I said, it got me to Olympia as men's physique. I was like, fucking cool. Now I wanted it more, but I wanted to be big as fuck because I'm 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why not? You know, but it fucked with me because I had when I started dropping the weight. I told that coach, I was like, hey, I'm done. So what do you mean? It's like, yeah, I'm done. I'm losing it. I'm not sleeping. I can't breathe right. You know, I'm fucking dry spelling every now and again, getting hyperglycemic when I fucking drive. I have a case of Dr. Peppers in the truck just in case I start getting cold sweats, knowing that, okay, my sugar's dropping. Let me chug this. All right, okay, I'm good.
It's almost like you're going to give yourself fucking diabetes.
Basically, that's what it felt like. That's what also scared me when I was doing that. So for me, it was like, shit, okay, what do you do? Fuck it. I'm going to stop. You know, I stopped. I started dropping more weight, and then I started just staying about 260, between 260 270. And I still checked in with that coach because he wanted to check, because he wanted me to get my blood work done. He understood it, whatever. He was like, why aren't you dropping any more weight? You stopped everything, right? And I said, yeah, I minimized it like I'm supposed to come off. And it's like 2 months later, he was like, how the hell are you still that? I said, I told you my body holds what it's going to hold.
Yeah.
But even then, from 2000 and I would say the end of 2017 to the middle of 2018, that's when my body just was like out of whack. Hormones were everywhere. I started losing my hair. It was weird. I was growing my hair out, and then every time I would get it braided, I always noticed, like, why is all my hair falling out? So I was like, what the fuck? Then it would grow back. It was weird. Then I started getting hair everywhere else on my body. Not a hairy guy. I started getting hair here. It's like, what the fuck? Started getting hair on my lats. I was just like, whoa, holy hell.
It's leaving here and going down here.
Yeah. It's like, it's weird. It's weird, right? Like, it's not leaving a lot. It's leaving enough up here to where I'm like,
yeah,
my hair's not as thick. Like, what the fuck? Whatever. But I'm like, why am I getting hair on my lats?
You know, I had Henry Walker on.
Okay.
He's the owner of Legacy Barbell.
Yeah.
And he told me, I mean, he had a thick head of hair, and he went through a prep, did the cycle, all that stuff, and now like he can grow hair, a little bit of hair, but he's predominantly bald now.
Right.
From all everything he was taking.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, and I guess, you know, we're already, as men, we already deal with the fact that, you know, I guess, you know, what are we Jada Pinkett Smith,
Right.
we're all dealing with, you know, alopecia,
Yeah.
to begin with, to some degree. But, you know, that, I guess the hair follicles on our body are super sensitive on our head versus everywhere else is, you know, this shit will go crazy on the rest of our body.
Right.
And so the stuff we put in our system, man, even drinking alcohol
Oh yeah.
to excess
Yeah.
will
if you do that enough, like it jacks up your testosterone.
Yeah.
It lowers it.
Yeah. And it's so weird, man, that, you know, guys for so long, and there's been such a, it's this weird thing with guys. Like, we're just expected to kind of like go along. Like, we're here to produce. We're here to kind of be out there working, grinding,
Right. Yeah.
heavy lifting kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Carrying the rocks and breaking,
Right.
stuff like that. And we stopped or never started really taking care of ourselves.
Right. Because if you do, you show weakness.
Yeah.
You try not to do that, and it comes to the point though too. You have to, of course, understand this within yourself, but the majority, like you're saying, they don't want to show that. They don't want to show the emotion. They don't want to show the troubles of it. They want to just, I'm the macho man, biggest dick motherfucker around.
Right.
Be like me.
Right.
Like, no, don't be like me because you're not going to like what happens.
Yeah, like somehow if you expose the fact that, hey man, you know what, I went through a fucking depressed period and I dealt with this shit.
Yeah.
Also, somehow that correlates to fucking giving random blowjobs on the street or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like
the wall shit.
Yeah, like
so
you're not going to end up being gay because you express the fact that you went through a period of fucking weakness in your life.
Right. And that's the thing. It's just, are you going to be transparent about it, or are you going to lie to the next man about it? So you end up being in the same spot.
Yeah, you perpetuate the fucking cycle. You don't help the next guy understand a little bit better what they're going through.
Right, exactly. And like for myself, I never had anyone do that for me.
Right.
So I was going through it, and I was figuring it out, and I just figured, hey, let me get off. And like I said, once I started getting off everything needed to come out. Yeah. And what it was doing, it was coming out in me. And I had right here, like it built up. It never came physically out to where it was like a bunch of red acne. It was under my skin, so it was cystic. Oh. So it looked like I was going into MMA like practice rounds and starting to be a fighter. I had people like, dude, were you, like, are you boxing somewhere? Like, what's going on? Like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, your bruises all right here, and your bruise right here. It's like, and I'd play along, because I wasn't ready to be like, it's cystic acne type shit. At first, I'd play along, like, yeah, you know what? I've been going a few rounds here and there for some people. Yeah. It's like, you gonna try to fight? Like, no, dude. This is straight for just my health. I need to get back. You see how fucking big I am. Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. That's the best. And I know a couple of people that do it. So, and then, like I was saying with the acne, it started getting on my back the same fucking way. It wasn't like it was Mount Everest, but it was Mount Everest the 6th way. And I went to dermatologist. I went to the doctor. He's like, that's an infection. I was like, oh. I was like, okay, what's the next step? Well, you can surgically come in here. I went to a dermatologist. That was going to cost me $2,000. Mm-hmm. But the one I went to was nice enough to be like, if you can control the infection and you can take some antibiotics, control the infection, eventually you can possibly pop those yourself, but it's gonna take some time. You can't just dig in your face and expect it to clear itself like a regular zit. I said, that's internal, Joe. So there's sacs. Yeah. You got all these big ass, and I had it here and I had some here. It was weird. Just like on my, it'd be on my sideburns, just on my cheeks. Of course, I'm on the phone. I'm like, shit, rubbing oil. I'm like, shit, rubbing this. I was like, damn.
Sitting on the benches and everything.
Yeah. And I didn't wear, I wore long sleeves and black and fucking dark shirts for like years. And I still do it because I have so many of them. So it's just like shit. I still have it. But when I was going through that, like I said, the drugs had to figure out a way to come out of me completely. Yeah. The EQ, that was so thick with oil that I could smell that shit at fucking night. It was nasty. When it was coming out, when I wasn't taking anything, when it was finally coming out, it took me 1.5 years to get rid of all that acne. Once it came out of my face, it was weird. It felt like ketchup packets all right here. I can mush my face in and just feel all that shit. I'm like,
because it made pockets in there.
It made pockets, cystic pockets of pus and blood. The blood was so just almost like a scab under my skin. Yeah. That's why I turned black. Because it was bruised. It's just blood singing under my skin. I'm like, shit. This one day I got a needle, and I just put one in there. And when you do something to yourself, like if you have a blister, you kind of hear that noise in your ear, like something popped. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh shit. And then I took that needle out and I just started, here comes all this shit. Here comes all this shit. Then I started more research, like, oh, that's what it is. Let me go through and fix all this shit and go. Yeah, it took me, like I said, about 1.5 years to completely get off of it before I was confident enough to take off my shirt.
God damn.
And I'm sitting here, what, 2.5 years prior, on stage, one of the best in the world, and I'm flaunting my body.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm like, don't look at me. I'm ashamed because look what's on my body now.
That's like, I mean, that's a whole different version of body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a lot of people go through that just simply because they love the way they look leaned and jacked and everything.
Exactly.
You're going through a whole like medical side of it where
Yeah.
like you're still in good shape. You just can't put that, you just don't feel good putting it out there.
Hell no, because I was never that guy who wanted to be shirtless and everyone, oh, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been in the gyms, you see the guys with acne everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, bruh.
Yeah.
Put on a shirt, homie. That's so gross.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to. You're like, dude, spray that shit down.
Like I'll be honest. Like again, like I get self-conscious. Not for like I understand from the competition standpoint, taking certain things and the cycle and all that stuff.
Right.
But I know in my mind, like I said, I've never done anything, and I kind of get self-conscious sometimes because I wear cutoff t-shirts.
Right.
Because I sweat horrendously.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, every once in a while, I'll get, like, a zit on my back.
Right.
And, unfortunately, single, I got no one who could pop this motherfucker. I can't reach it, you know? And I'll go to the gym, and I'm in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, oh, my God, these people, they're going to fucking look at me, and they're going to think I'm, you know, steroided. I'm like, no. I'm not big enough for that. You know?
Right.
And I even get, so I understand that completely, because I just get one zit.
Right, you know, so when you have that across your back, like, I'm not one for it, you know, and for me, I've always been able to play it off. It's like, man, you a big dude, blah, blah, blah. What do you take? I'm like, bro, trust me, if I took some shit, I'd be bigger than this.
Yeah.
And then people will think, yeah, you're probably right, dude. Yeah, you're a big guy, don't get me wrong, but fuck, you should probably, because I prided myself in not having zits.
Yeah.
So when you're able to do that, you know, people look at it like, okay, is that just you or is that the gear? You don't want to go out and advertise what the fuck you're doing.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
And you know, like I tell people all the time, is you're going to take something, do your research.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't start taking shit till I was 35 years old before I did my first competition.
So you let your body kind of develop.
I developed myself because growing up, I played basketball.
Yeah.
You know, so I played basketball in high school, played in college, walked on U of H, quit that, went over to California and started playing in summer pro leagues back in, 2001, way back in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So, made it through the ranks, got a Clipper tryout in 2003, 2004. That was pretty cool to sit there and be able to get myself there without any, real college basketball playing except in JUCO.
That's fucking cool.
And going out there by myself, no agent, no nothing, and showing enough to get an impressive enough, I'm at the Long Beach at the Summer Pro League out there. Say, hey, come to this trial real quick. Like, what? Holy shit. Okay. Getting all that done. And, by 2005, I'm ready to go. 2005 comes around. I'm getting pretty decent, ABA. Yeah, that's when the ABA was still alive and stuff like that. And they had the D League, which is now the G League.
Yeah.
They were starting to build that up and stuff. I was playing in Mexico leagues. I was doing this. So I was like, okay, hey, it's coming. This hard work is paying off. I tore my Achilles in 2005, and there it went. So I had to find another outlet. And it was a gym.
How'd you end up tearing that?
I was at the free throw line.
Wow.
Crazy enough, I had came back from a trial. It was in San Jose. Right, even before I got home, there was actually a letter that sat there that said, "Hey, we want you to come back in the fall. We're gonna pay for this. You're gonna sign this. This is gonna be your contract." So I'm at home. Like I get home on a Friday. So it's just crazy, story attached to it. That's why I'm about to say it. You're home on a Friday. The girlfriend that I had, we live off of it was the Beltway. I think it was Richmond, an apartment complex out there. Big old party. Let's party. She's at work. She's getting off early, but everyone, hey, surprise, Joe. Blah, blah, blah. We're partying. We're doing this. We're doing that. Blah blah blah. My sister calls me. My parents getting a wreck off I-10 and Katy, whatever. They flipped their Explorer. It was my mom, my two little baby sisters, life flight, this and that. Everybody's alive, thank God. Everybody was fine. 3 days later, after that shit, I told my stepdad, like, hey, I got to get ready. I'm about to leave in the next week to go back to San Jose. I'm moving. Everybody was happy for me. They knew it. Yeah, I understand. I go to the church 10 minutes away from my parents' house off 529 and Highway 6. Hey, what's up, man? We heard about what you did. high school people, college friends of mine from U of H, you know, they would play up there. So it was like, hey, cool. Like, hey, man, we heard you. That's badass, bro. Fucking, that's legit. You're like, you know, you're one step. You're coming. You're coming. You're coming. Hey, let's play. Let's play. We're all hyped up. 7 o'clock. By 7:45, I'm calling my stepdad. Inside that first game I played, I went to the free throw line. I'm facing the point guard, like at the free throw line this way, and I did a right to the left cut. Simple. As soon as I popped to the left after the right, felt like someone just punched me in the back of the leg. That was it. That was
something simple.
Something simple. I've done it a million times over, and I blamed everything. You know, I blamed the church. I blamed the floor because it was one of those rubber floors that they have in some churches or in some courts in some areas.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm thinking that my foot caught too much pressure, and it just, you know, I was just like, oh, well, there goes the fucking end of that, you know, and oh yeah, I got bitter.
Yeah.
Didn't have a relationship with God for 4 years. Didn't watch NBA for 2. Sold my season tickets at the time. Just did not care about basketball, you know, and what else could I do at that time of my life besides be not depressed and just be active? Basically get surgery. But then, hey, I started selling dope. You know, why? Man, it was easy to do. I had cousins that did it. It came real easy to me. Didn't want to sell weed.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what am I going to do that for? I'm going to make some money. So, yeah, why I had surgery and I was rehabbing, I was selling fucking coke and rehabbing and getting... And the crazy part about it is I was going to rehab Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, wow.
Every day that I could to better my foot because I wanted to get back to what I was.
Yeah.
I knew I probably wasn't ever, but I still made the effort to fucking do it. Then, you know, when you start doing all that, you have all this around you. You know, I started living the fast life. Then I started partying in the fast life. Started doing the same shit. Started seeing people change, and I'm like, okay, why is everybody acting different, or what's going on? And, you know, the main factor of it was, it's like, oh, well, that's the drug game. That's what it does to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got out of all that and then tried to go back and play. But that turn of the Achilles, that completely took me to the whole bodybuilding. A buddy of mine's like, hey, why don't you try to do this shit? You know, well, what is it? You know, a couple of years down the road, it's like, it's a bodybuilding show. They have a division called Men's Physique. Give it a try. Well, okay, cool. Gave it a try. I fell in love with it. You know, but the whole Achilles thing, that was another downfall of starting over with myself because it was like I was up here athletic wise, like jumping. I was dunking when I was in 6th grade, so I was super athletic, having a time of my life. You know, going to these tryouts, enjoying it. Like, oh fuck yes, I'm in a groove. Yes, I feel great. I feel great. I feel great. Come home, damn near lose my entire family in an accident. So one of my sisters, but you know, thank God everybody's fine. 2 days later, I tear my Achilles in a church gym, and I damn God to hell every damn day for it, and didn't give a shit, and just wanted to make money and just numb the pain every day, like they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that for a while. That didn't, you know, started not, but I started seeing some people that I did care about turn into bad people because of the cocaine.
Yeah.
I had to stop that shit, and I had to tell this one girl that I was with that I cared about, like, hey, if I ever fucking see you do this shit again, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass for you for doing it. It was my fault that she did it because I gave her permission to do it.
Yeah.
That was the only way for me to get her out of my life and to get her out of the circle. Which it did it because it pushed her out of the circle and it pushed her out of the life. And 4 years later, she asked me, she was like, were you ever gonna? I said, I just needed to scare you away from me.
Yeah.
She's like, really? I said, I didn't want you in that. I said, when I saw you flip out that one night in the bedroom, that was it. I mean, she flipped out like there was somebody in the bathroom. She thought I had a girl in the house that we were living in the bathroom hiding, and she was mocking her the whole time. And at that point, I'm like, okay, she's losing her fucking mind.
Oh, yeah, he's getting paranoid.
I was like, oh, it's time to stop, Joe. You need to quit.
Yeah.
You need to quit. You need to get away from it, get away from her, make sure she's okay. And once I did that, I stepped myself away from everything, too.
So I tell the story all the time, man. Another kind of a reason that I've never done anything is, growing up, when my parents were younger, my dad worked his ass off and did very, very well in his early 20s, made a tremendous amount of money in his early 20s in construction, owned like body shops, we were out in Arizona. And in that area, in that time, they became like honorary like Hell's Angels. He had a business partner that was involved.
Right.
And I mean, legit businesses and everything, but these people also lived like this other life.
Yeah.
And so growing up, and there's pictures of this when I was a kid. Well, I say a kid, I was like a baby. I was like 1-2 years old.
Right.
I was like the mascot. I was this little fat ball of, I mean, they called me Moose. My nickname was Moose when I was a baby. I was so big. And there's these pictures of my parents would have these parties at the house. And it's like this, white picket fence neighborhood. It's like upper middle class type neighborhood. And the yard's completely filled with Harleys. They're not in the driveway. They're not in the road. They're in the yard, like the way you would see in a movie.
Right. Just lined up.
Exactly. And they were having these parties, and there's these bikers, and it was the craziest thing because these guys would be like legitimate business people. Some of them were doctors and shit like that. But on the weekends, they went and rode with their fucking homeboys and all that stuff, wearing their leathers and everything. And so they have these pictures. Well, one night they're having this massive party at the house, and someone lost a vial of cocaine in the house, and I was just at the point I was maybe 2, so just past the point of crawling, waddling around the house, picking everything up, and my parents like lost their fucking mind, thinking I was going to get a hold of this fucking vial and end up putting it in my mouth and dying. And so they saw what that kind of life was kind of going down. My brother, who was 11 years older than me, my half brother, he actually found it in the seat cushions of a chair in the front room. And my parents, like, they saw, I mean, they were indulging. There's no doubt they were indulging and all that shit. That's the time. That was the time. I mean, it was the late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
They're doing that shit.
That was the norm in a way.
All day, every day. Right. Everybody's doing it. I mean, people are doing coke on their fucking lunch breaks, during that time of America. I mean, it's the rise of Pablo Escobar and the cartels and all that shit. So
shit was easy to set.
Yeah.
You can get weed, you can get that.
Exactly. And it was just daily life here in America. And so they did pretty much like what you did. Completely pushed everybody completely away and said, "Hey, we're done. We're because that's the only way to get away from it."
Yeah, I mean, you have to cut off everything associated with it. I mean, I cut off cousins. I cut off, people that I met. I had debts that I still had to pay that I didn't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, dude. I was like, well, first of all, y'all live over in that side of town. Y'all don't know where I live.
Yeah.
I was like, the only way they knew me was through my ex at the time, the one I pushed away. And even she moved to a different way to where she didn't talk to everybody because she was just like, they keep calling me. I got to change my number. I said, well, change your number. I was like, but I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I played cat and mouse long enough. Never got caught.
Yeah.
There's so many times where, just like you said, one vial of coke could get you 50, 60 years. Kill somebody, you don't even get that fucking much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was times when I playing cat and mouse, having an ounce and a half in my little Honda, having cops tail my ass, running my shit, because I had a ball fade, low cut buzz ball fade right there, and it was just, I looked the part, the little, gangster Mexican guy, this, that, and whatever, pull his ass over. At the same time, stepdad's Harris County. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. Stepdad's Harris County, and everyone was just like, and I didn't have to do what I did. I didn't have a bad life. I didn't grow up hard. We didn't grow up poor.
Yeah.
And people were like, why'd you do it? I said, because I felt like I wanted to. I just wanted to make money. Why didn't you get a job? I said, well, to me, that was a job.
It was easy.
That's what it was. It was easy. It came easy.
Yeah.
People were like, really? I was like, well, why didn't you sell weed? I said, I did that. I got bored. I said, I'd rather do this so I can make quadruple the money in a shorter period of time. Only thing about it is that's a 24/7 job.
Yeah. A little bit of an adrenaline rush too.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but still, for me, it was just the fastest way to make a lot.
I did. I did 4 years in prison.
Okay.
And a lot of the guys that were there, obviously, drugs.
Right. And
a big part of, like, they all talk about it. A lot of them, they don't come from. I mean, they had some rough upbringings, but it wasn't like just completely destructive home life.
Right.
They, parents were still there. They could have gone a different direction. And it was just like, man, they wanted to because there was a fucking rush to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys, man, they love, and kind of a similar scenario with a lot of them is they were, maybe didn't go as far as what you're talking about, getting into, getting interviews with the Clippers and stuff like that, and potentially getting into the league. But these were guys that were, like top end, recruits for football here in the Houston area, maybe played D1 college, and they lived that life, and it was a rush. And then they fell out of it, and they were like, they still wanted to, it was like for them, because having conversations with a lot of these guys, sitting down and trying to understand like that life it made them feel important still. Yeah. Like they still felt like they had some power because they weren't playing football anymore. No one was screaming their name when they were running down the field, but people were still needing them. People were still contacting them saying, hey, this, that, and the other. And then the other side of it was it did give them just that sense of rush where a lot of them had family in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And they won't tell that shit to other people. They won't say that to some of the other guys, but they had a lot of people in law enforcement, which is not uncommon in the Houston area.
No,
when you got the sheriffs, HPD, you live in a place as big as this. Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of them.
You have everybody.
So a lot of these guys, they were like, they felt that rush where, they're kind of skirting the family and all that stuff too. Man, I'll be honest, man, that's not that uncommon, like what you just talked about.
No, it's not. I mean, but it's not talked about.
No.
It's never talked about.
No.
Like you're saying with the rush, you know what it was for me? Because it let me play basketball every day.
Yeah.
That's it. It let me play. It let me practice. It let me travel. It let me do that. The rush of it. I never, ever carried myself in that kind of drug dealer way like some guys do. Never bought myself jewelry.
Yeah.
I had a Honda Civic that had no AC and no tent. So I had that shit in high school, and I was rolling that son of a bitch until it broke. I mean, when I was playing in Long Beach in the summer pro leagues, I would drive myself out there in that thing. I think I drove there and back at least 15 times.
You drove through Death Valley in that damn thing? Fuck that. Jesus.
No
AC?
No AC sometimes. And I think I replaced the radiator at least 8 times in that thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, one transmission. I think I almost rode $1 million in that car.
Hondas and Toyotas, man.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers will last you.
And people were like, dude, how? I'm like, I maintenance this bitch.
Yeah.
I kept up with it.
You take care of them.
Every time that fucking light would go from green to yellow to red, maintenance time. Throw a couple hundred in it, it's like brand new. Like, shit, Hondas are, I was like, yeah, man, Hondas are where it's at. But just like you're saying with the rush of it, my rush was just trying to make it.
Yeah.
It was just trying to make it. The whole thing about, like my dad, because people were like, dude, your dad's a cop. I was like, yeah. But I never told, anytime I get pulled over, I never told Harris County or anybody that my dad was a cop. I never used that to my advantage.
Yeah.
People would always say, well, why don't you? I was like, why would I? I was like, I'd rather let someone treat me how they need to treat me. And then if they find out after, cool.
Yeah.
If they don't, I don't need my stepfather to be like, everyone, oh shit, that's Sarge's son. Like, no, it's fine. The times that they did find out, they'd always be like, why didn't you tell me? I said, why do I need to?
Yeah.
Well, because we won't be in this situation. You'd have went home. I said, well, I'm still going home, aren't I? Yeah, but you wouldn't have been here for an extra 2 hours or this, that, and whatever. And I'm just like, well, that shouldn't matter. I said, I shouldn't be here anyway. And you know that.
Right. You should be treating me the same way you would treat me.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And I had a lip on me. Because I knew why some cops would sit there and pull me over.
Sure.
Because I had some even sit there and tell me, like, I wasn't muscular growing up when I played basketball, but it was just like, hey, you're a big kid. I'm not going to let you put your hands on me. Cops have gotten bigger over the years, of course, but cops back in there in the early 90s and shit, they weren't really prone to violence like the cops are now.
Right.
It wasn't really like I pull over, like cops get shot for fucking traffic tickets and shit because these pieces of shit think it's like okay to do.
Yeah.
But then if you shoot them, then that's a problem.
Well, there was an entire generation, I would say that, well, obviously, and it kind of happens after wars. Yeah. There was probably a huge push of people that got into that became law enforcement after coming home from, say, Vietnam, stuff like that. But then we had a good 30 years where there wasn't, any kind of conflict.
No.
And so now what you have a tremendous amount of guys that are back in the service, but the military is trained differently. They're now cops, but they went through different kind of military training, and
Right.
and they are and there is that focus on potential violence.
Right.
Nowadays we have that. They put that in those guys, unfortunately, because we have to fucking deal with it.
Yeah. And it's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad to have to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. The cops, and I actually got into an argument the other day with somebody about this. And it's a guy, man. I've known him for a long, long time. He's not a bad guy. He just says some stupid shit. This really upset me. And he was referring to there was a shooting up in Michigan recently.
Right.
Wrongful shooting. I guess the guy who was shot in the back, stuff like that. That should never fucking happen.
No.
But what he tried to tie in, and he of course tied in George Floyd and kneeling on the neck and all this other shit. Like, look, no one should die during a police interaction.
No.
Like unless you're attacking the police,
Unless you're showing violence, or
right,
shooting at them, of course.
There's look. We can all look at it and say George Floyd should not have died. Period. He should not have died for what he was dealing with.
Right.
This is not going to justify it in any way whatsoever, but I try to tell everybody, say, look, I've had, for multiple reasons, not all law enforcement interactions, but I have had guns held to my head, point blank range. Had I made the wrong fucking decision at that moment, I wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
If
definitely.
I had decided to act like an asshole. Now, there was a time where I had to, in my own house, I was told to walk out of my house backwards with my hands clasped behind my head and get down on my knees, and had a fucking 45 held to my head.
Right.
Had I decided to act like an asshole at that moment during that police interaction, totally different fucking story.
Yeah. Possibly dead.
Yeah, possibly dead. Maybe, here's what I tell everybody. Maybe I might not have been shot because of the color of my skin.
Right.
Possibly. But the only fact remains is that I didn't get shot because I didn't give them a reason to.
Right.
I gave no fucking cause for them to shoot me. Now, you had the situation, granted, and I know it doesn't make, there's no reason why someone like George Floyd should be dead for what was happening. He was trying to pass off a fucking counterfeit dollar bill.
Right.
The only thing I could say to anybody is, hey, look, had you not had the reason for a police interaction to begin with, it wouldn't have led down that road.
Right.
We wouldn't have that. I'm not saying but he brought up the scenario. Well, what is this thing about, if, you're riding around and the cops say they want to search their vehicle, you search your vehicle, and they tell you that they want to search your vehicle. Well, hey, guess what? It's not their fault. You don't understand your rights. You can simply say, no, I don't consent. And if you've got nothing in your car, yes, it's going to piss you off. They're going to bring the fucking dogs out there. And if you got nothing in your car, they find absolutely nothing. Sure, you get pissed off, but the cops are doing their job. It's a legitimate traffic stop for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You get to go about your fucking life. But you get these guys that they want to get fucking mouthy, they want to get whatever, and they forget, oh yeah, well, you got a warrant. You got a felony warrant or whatever.
Right.
And then it turns into something else, and it turns into all these other interactions. You have several million police interactions every year. Every year, several million police interactions, and you have a couple thousand shootings, and only a couple hundred that result in deaths. Like 99% of them are all found completely legitimate, completely justified shootings because the person was coming at them.
Yeah, some kind of violent way.
It's like the guy really pissed me off, and this was what made me lose a lot of respect for like the NFL. This was last year. It was a guy. It was up in the Midwest, something like that, where I remember Drew Brees ended up putting this fucking guy's name on his helmet.
I can't remember.
I completely forget. I can see the name in my head. Anyway. The guy had a violent criminal past, and he was literally, the cops were trying to talk to him. He had a fucking knife, and they were coming at him with a knife. or he was coming at the cops with a knife. He had apparently had like stolen his girlfriend's car and held her at knife point and stuff like that. And then he decides he's going to go after the cops with a fucking knife, and they shoot him.
Right.
And all of a sudden now you've got the fucking NFL and everybody else in the world screaming his name like he was somehow murdered and assassinated. Somehow, again, it doesn't make it right for someone to die. I'm not justifying the George Floyd situation, but now you're going to fucking somehow, you're going to make him a martyr. You're going to put fucking statues and things up and forget the fact that he held a fucking knife to a pregnant woman?
That's the thing. You know, they want to forget about it because at the time, like you're saying, at the time, you know, none of it's justified or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like in being Hispanic, you know, and having Hawaiian in the culture. I know what it is that, like you said, to have the guns pointed and to be stereotyped. I have tattoos everywhere that, you know, you're a thug, you're a gang member, this, that.
Right.
No, I'm not. Anyway, shut your fucking mouth.
Right.
It's what you say, you know, but like you said, if you don't do anything to have any type of police officer go to that next step, you shouldn't have to worry about a fucking thing.
Right.
For some reason, after everything did happen after George Floyd, everything went to shit as far as every reason that an officer shot somebody of color, it was because they were racist. It's because they have an agenda.
Yeah.
And it's not really that. Let's listen to the entire thing, but then you'll have people say, look what that person did in order to get shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's still just smoke and mirrors because the media is hyping it up to believe, like you said, the NFL, you have these big organizations and these big followings that people listen to. Like, no, this is why. Oh, well, I guess that's it. Well, that's the truth. Yeah, but the truth don't make sense because they're saying it. So we need to listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, but still, and I've told people this too, and I've lost friends over it with all that shit that was going on with the riots and COVID and all this fucking crap. I'm like, y'all know that shit growing up. Some of y'all were around when we got guns put on us by the cops because of what the fuck we were doing. None of us got in trouble, but we got harassed.
Sure.
So fucking what? Get over it.
We all lived.
Yeah. No one's dead. Yeah, but this is different though, dog. Like, no, it's not. I was like, look, don't give the cops a reason to fucking shoot you. I learned that a long time ago. Yeah, sometimes in some scenarios, yeah, you know, it is because you're not white. It's what it is. Sometimes in some scenarios, you know what? It is because you know who you know.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't, hey, I know plenty of cops that have pulled me over. Their partners have, they come up, partners acting like dickhead, like, oh shit, Joe, hey, what's up? Hey man, put your gun down. You're fucking tripping. Joe, get out of here. The other cops like, what the hell? I know that guy. It's one of my friends. Oh. You know, but still, just because that happens one time doesn't mean that you have the right to sit there and just call everybody a piece of shit.
Right.
You know, because you can't go up to any random motherfucker in the street and be like, dude, fuck you.
Right.
Usually what's going to happen in that, a real man's going to knock you the fuck out. Possibly nowadays, because it's so common, shoot you.
Shoot you. Yeah.
That's the most common thing to do nowadays. It's not fight. It's not do anything. It's just shoot you.
Shoot
him. And why? Because you felt threatened.
Right. And
for some fucking reason, that holds water now. He threatened me at 2:00, so I came back and shot his ass.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit. Yeah, people... Yeah, I think what you kind of hit on it a little bit was the entitlement.
Yeah.
It's people they have this sense of entitlement now that, no, there still is the rule of law. Look, hey, this is coming from a guy who wasn't acting right, a guy who spent 4 years in prison. I have every reason to think the exact opposite direction of what I think. But the reality is there's still the rule of law in this country. And people, for some reason, think that because a bad scenario happened over here, it now gives them the ability to act like an asshole over here.
Right.
That it justifies it for them to act this way. Look, I'll tell you, I had a situation where this was years and years and years ago, probably going on almost 20 years ago now. I was driving down the road. I was on the south side of Houston. I was in an avalanche, but it was blacked out, black windows and everything, and I wasn't fucking speeding. But I got stopped by HPD. He told me I was speeding when I rolled down the window and I had a fucking button down and a tie. He realized I wasn't a drug dealer or anything like that. So he says he gets me for speeding, and I get fucking mouthy with him. I got lippy. No, I didn't get out of my goddamn truck or anything and try anything stupid, but I got fucking mouthy with him. What's he do? Pulls me out of the goddamn vehicle and arrests me. puts me in handcuffs. Now, everything gets dropped, all the other stuff, but hey, had I not fucking smarted off to the cop, now maybe he was having a bad day, totally wasn't justified,
Right.
whatever. Everything got dropped, no big deal. He actually came to me afterwards because I went to court, traffic violation, whatever. He actually went to apologize to me. I still had a fucking attitude with him because I had to go through a bunch of shit. But had I kept my fucking mouth shut,
Right. You wouldn't have been in that scenario.
yeah, had I not acted like an entitled asshole.
Right.
I was acting like an entitled asshole because I was said, what? Oh, I'm driving a nice vehicle. But, oh, all of a sudden, because I'm wearing a button down and a fucking tie and some fucking shiny shoes, you want to...
Act like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go this different direction, and I acted like an entitled little fucking prick.
Right.
Well, you know, that's what the cops are going to do. Look, hey, granted, I didn't try to do anything stupid. I didn't get shot.
Right.
But I've had other scenarios. Where I was driving a blacked out. Look, all my vehicles are black.
Right.
I've always had black vehicles. Every vehicle I've ever had since my first vehicle was black. I was driving a black on black Expedition, completely blacked out, murdered out everything, and every fucking time I get stopped for speeding or whatever, they wouldn't even come to the window until the backup and the drug dog was already there.
Right.
They wouldn't even come out.
Yeah.
They would just...
They'd wait.
Yeah. So, so I get it. It gets frustrating and shit like that. But at the same time, after the third time of getting stopped like that, if I didn't want to have to fucking deal with... Now, granted, I shouldn't have to worry about... I go down these roads. I go down these fucking, thinking rabbit holes. Should I have to worry about what color my vehicle is or the blacked out windows or the blacked out rims to not get stopped? But at the same time, there's clearly something about what I'm doing or where I'm at that is triggering this kind of response. So, stop doing what the fuck I'm doing.
You always got to look at self.
Yeah.
You got to look at self because self is where it starts.
It came back to me.
Yeah.
It came back to what I was doing.
Right.
Which kind of circles all the way back to what we were talking about at the very beginning of this, was that you spending that month, taking that month and making yourself, I guess, really just holding yourself accountable to get in the gym, to get there.
I had to get my life together.
Yeah.
I had to get my life up because at the same time, being back, everything was great, but I wasn't nowhere to be found. It was Joe, not Joe. It was the Joe. I didn't know who this Joe was until I was like, shit. Here comes this client. Okay, I'm in the gym every day. But yeah, once I got my mind back on that track of my own 2 feet.
Yeah.
And not feeling like I was a burden to myself or a burden to anything else because I had everything else. So why the fuck am I bitching? Why am I bitching? I was like, okay, you made your money, you did this, you're home now, you're around the dogs, you see the wife every day, you're happy. Be happy. Don't make her life miserable because you're unhappy type shit. So, yeah, you're right. It comes down because it was me. I was the issue again.
Yeah.
I was the issue again, and I wasn't telling anybody about it because I was dealing with myself to where one day, when I got back in early March, I sat down, with the wife, like, hey, this is what's going on. She said, I figured something was up, but I know how you are. You don't want to tell me because you don't want me to worry. So, I don't want you to worry, so that's why I don't tell you, but I need to tell you because this shit's getting on my nerves.
Well, yeah, and then you start I say this. There's a lot of fucking bad shit about social media.
Right.
But what you've started to do on social media is kind of like what I do. I use it as an accountability tool.
Yeah.
It makes a big fucking difference when you put your weakness out there and and it's now out there to the world for everybody to fucking judge you and say this, and now you're held accountable. Mm-hmm. Like you have to answer to this. If you say I'm going to go and do this, you just put it out there to the fucking world. Now you got to go do it.
Right.
And you've started to do that. I've seen that a lot with a lot of your videos and your stories and stuff like that, where you're in a way you're putting accountability out there and almost challenging other people to do the same thing.
I've been doing that, and the thing about it is I've always been one to where I'm like that as a coach, as a contest prep coach, or even as a trainer. When I'm doing it, like, I want to hold you accountable as much as I'm accountable, because if I'm not holding you accountable, then who's doing it? People don't like that at first because they feel like you're attacking them because you're calling them out. You're calling their weaknesses out. You're calling their issues out. But you hired me for that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I'm always the front runner in that for myself to be like, I'm gonna hold myself fucking accountable.
You know, I've never talked about this on here. I've talked to friends about this. So I was given a 10-year sentence, and I served 4 years, and then I made parole. I was denied the first 2 times, and definitively, I know for a fact that I wrote a letter to the parole board to tell them that it's time for me to take responsibility, to be accountable. And I put in this letter because they even told me that this played like the biggest factor, like they could tell. Because they told me the reason that I was denied the first 2 times is because they thought I was an asshole.
Right.
They thought that I hadn't learned my lesson. When I can honestly say that I had. Like, I knew the moment the judge said, hey, 10 years, I knew I had fucked up.
Right.
Like, telling a judge to go fuck himself in open court it's not like who does that? Like who does that thinks they're gonna fucking get away with that? That's an asshole. Well, I got denied the first 2 times because the interviewers thought that I believed I was better than them.
Right.
And I'm in white, and they're regular people, they're, free world people, and they thought that I portrayed that I was better than them, that I hadn't yet learned my lesson. And which I had, but growing up where I grew up, you just talk to people normally.
Right.
I don't care what color clothes you have on, what color your skin is. You talk to people like human beings, and you converse respectfully. Well, I wrote this letter, and in a nutshell, I basically said, look, I never had to be responsible for anything. I never had to take accountability for my actions. Why? Because I came from a wealthy family. And if there wasn't a problem that my parents could just solve for me, they paid to resolve it.
Right.
I never was forced to actually be responsible for my actions. And as I got older, when I got older and I got into business on my own, I started paying for my way out of problems.
Right.
And it's something as simple as speeding down the road. There's a fucking sign that says this is how fast I can go. What would I do? Oh, I would turn around. If I got a speeding ticket, I'd hire a fucking expensive attorney. We'd fight it for whatever. We'd get it removed from my record. Didn't learn my lesson. I went probably like a 10-year period of my life where I was getting fucking 9, 10 speeding tickets a year because I just wasn't learning. Right. Now, anywhere I go, I set the cruise control. I learned my lesson.
Right.
I'm going to be a good boy now.
Right.
But I told them that in this letter. I said I had never been forced to be responsible for my own actions, to become accountable for who I was as a human being. And this experience, which is so drastically different from anything I've ever had to experience in my life. It's not the similar lifestyle that I grew up with, obviously. Growing up I grew up in a 8,000 square foot house with an indoor pool and an outdoor pool and fucking horses and cows and barns and cars and all this. I was a fucking entitled piece of shit. And I was never accountable for my own actions. Once I did that full personal self-inventory, it changed my life. It's changed every aspect of who I am as a human being.
Change your outlook, your vision.
Yeah, absolutely.
How you see yourself.
Yeah. And
so how you want others to see yourself as well.
That's the number one thing for me is I say I don't care what people think.
Right.
But I mean, I do in a way. Not because hey, I'm going to change the way I work out because someone, judges me for it, but I want to know that honestly, if other people think I'm a good person, then I'm doing good things.
Exactly.
I want to be a good person. I want to know, and there is some self-reward to that. It's a little bit of selfishness.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely is.
But it translates down the road is, look, I'm never going to be a competitor. I'm not genetically gifted like you. You're a big guy to start with. I'm 5'9". I'm 200 pounds. I'm very muscular because I was an athlete.
Right.
But so people come to me a lot and they ask me about advice and things like that. And they're like, how do you do this? And I'm like, Well, number one, the hardest thing that you're going to experience is making it to the fucking gym every day.
Right.
For the first, what they say, 21 days creates a habit, something like that. Like, that's going to be the number one thing you're going to have to deal with, is actually getting your ass to the gym.
Showing up.
You're going to have to make a self-inventory of yourself, what matters to you. What's important here is the end goal of a better life and more health. It's a delayed return. It's not an immediate, payback to you. Like, hey, great, you go to the bar, you can fuck around, have a good time with your friends, have a drink, you get buzzed, whatever. You had a good evening. Delayed gratification comes with going to that gym and creating that process and over and over. And all of that starts with accountability of what you want in life.
Exactly.
Knowing where you got to go with all this other stuff, man. Yeah. But I saw that with you. I'm
getting it back.
Yeah.
I'm getting it back because, like you're saying, the accountability aspect of it is like, you got to show up. Yeah, you can go do, like you're saying, in the bar. It's a quick fix for what? Feeling good? Or do you want to feel good for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be in, like I said earlier, quicksand? People are like, well, what's this quicksand because I bring that up a lot. People are like, well, what is that? I say, you're in your own quicksand, your own mind. It's like, the more you struggle with accountability and holding yourself to a higher, level, you're always going to be struggling to breathe or be, kind of struggling to get to the top of what you want to achieve because you don't carry yourself in a way of, I know I can succeed. I know I can do it. Quit trying to do it in 2 seconds and understand it's going to take longer than that because you want instant gratification because of these things.
Yeah.
That's so much nowadays to where, if not, I can make a phone call, like you said, quick fix. I can pay somebody to fix me. I can have someone tell me that, hey, you're a good person. Pick yourself up every day. Do this every day. Now pay me my money. Or you can wake up every day, do it your damn fucking self.
Right.
Because no one's going to come and save you ever. Ever. All you're going to do is make others around you be just as down as you and feel sorry for you and feel obligated to make sure that you're okay. You're adding stress to them because you're too fucking lazy to pick yourself fucking up and do it yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, where did that come from? A force of habit, like you said. Like, how you said, growing up, you're a spoiled kid. Okay, cool. My force of habit was I gave a fuck. Right. Why? Because I knew I get out of it.
Right.
Whatever, And I think we all catch that sometimes too, because there's a point when I was competing. You get cocky because you're just like, oh, you're untouchable. You're untouchable this way, untouchable that way. Then you start having these issues happen. You're like, fuck, guess I'm not. Nope, didn't happen now, but it happened later. And it catches up to you. And if you don't address it quick enough, you'll be so head over in this shit and drowning to where you won't even give two shits if you get out of it or not, because the work concept of it is going to get to you. Yeah. You're like, fuck that. That's too much work. Nah, take your time. 20 minutes is good. Going every day, it's like, it's a relief because I can tell myself that I accomplished going and, hey, I'm back in my steps. Do I have bad days? Yeah, definitely. Definitely do. Like yesterday, I was so caught up with my puppies that I didn't go, but I did my 6 miles at least, and I stayed on top of my food. That's the start, because if not, I'd be snacking on cereal all day and shit like that, and whatever I wanted. I'm not one to go eat a lot of fast food, but when a wife gets off work, hey, let's go get this real quick. And it's not that I don't have food at home, but let's just go spend money.
Quick fix.
Let's go to sushi. Let's go to, get some pho. Things like that, to where, like you said, like we're talking about, the quick fix. It's not a quick fix. Yeah. Life has taken a toll on a lot, and to not hold yourself on that level of, hey, I need to hold myself up here. Yeah. For myself, like you said, I don't give a fuck what people think, but your character goes a long fucking way. If people know you're doing good things, people are going to listen to you and ask you for advice, or maybe you kind of gap yourself into another opportunity in life to succeed somewhere and doing something else, another adventure. But if you're walking around an arrogant asshole thinking your shit don't stink, people are going to know you're a fucking asshole. Nowadays, that's just as bad as calling anybody anything. If anybody thinks a man's an asshole, they don't fuck with you.
Right.
They just don't, because like you said, that's entitlement. You're an asshole. You're entitled. You think you're entitled. No. You know, I'm very open and blunt forward. Some people can't handle that. I have to find my boundaries there and there, but I'm also not going to hold my mouth.
Sure.
You know, and it's not because I need to be heard. It's because, well, if you ask me something, I'm going to be honest. If you don't like it, please don't ask. But I'm also going to try to figure out a way to sit there and come across as not being completely a jerk about it. But hey, you ask me something, I want to break it down. Not that my way is correct, but how I would sit there and approach it. Like in the way that I'm going to break it down and apply what I need to apply to it to fix it or solve it.
Yeah.
You know, because my girlfriend always says it's the Joe way. So shut your ass. But it's because she's not as open as I am as far as that. Because I'm very, like I said, like you asked me, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and when we first got together, she always thought I was calling her out to be disrespectful, but I was calling her out to make her better.
Yeah.
And when she figured that part out, she was like, "Oh, you never called me out to be a dickhead. You just wanted me to be better." It's like, that's the point. It's like I'm not telling you what you're doing is wrong, and I hate it. But hey, maybe try doing it this way. It's a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know. So I guess that helps that I'm a psychology major. So you know, I love the human mind.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Joe, man, hey, look, I know there is literally about 40 other topics that I think I could go down the road with you on.
Oh yeah.
But we've
been at it.
We've been at it now for about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So man, I just want to say thank you. I think I'd like to have you back on again.
Yeah.
In the future, man. Like I said, there's some great stuff. Like yesterday, man, it was like a big fuck. It was like part of the Berlin Wall fell fucking yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, with the mask mandates coming down, federal transportation, and it felt so good.
See, I haven't read anything about it,
Yeah.
but I saw one thing that American Airlines is not.
All of them now.
All of
They
it.
can no longer enforce it. No airline can enforce it. They give you the option if you still want to wear them.
Wear it.
Fine.
Right.
But it's no longer, the TSA can no longer enforce it at the at airports. It can no longer be enforced on the airplanes.
Thank God.
It's just like boom, like that. And of course, it was a federal judge in Florida that came in and stepped in and said that it is unlawful, that the mandates are unlawful. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of those things that you and I could sit down and talk about the effects of our lives over the past couple of years, man. But I want to say thank you to you, man. I appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem. It was great.
Man, Big Joe Cantu, thank you so much, buddy.
It was a
I appreciate it.
Pleasure. All
All
right,
right,
Jason.
all right, brother. See ya.